I moved my family of seven, that is myself and my six children, four boys and two girls, from California to Texas in 2023. How did I do it? How was I able to achieve this? As a single mom, and we were living in California in a home, a place where we created memories. We started our YouTube channel then, but at some point we didn't continue, and life was good, everything was going on well, until at some point it was like our source of income to support us was no longer visible. So I saw myself and the children who were almost becoming homeless. Then my mom was taking care of our needs almost 90%, and she's not that young, but she did what she ought to do at that time to support me, the daughter, and the six children. But at some point I remember when she got senior housing, she was approved because she was like, it's so much on her that she wanted to like go to live in senior housing where she can afford. And it was, our last daughter then that told her, Grandma, please don't go. If you leave us, we'll become homeless. I cried all night. They saw me sometimes, they wake up, see me crying. And then I just look at it, and the only thing that came to me is, move to Texas. Why? People always ask, why do you move to Texas? Of course, you know the answer. Texas is more affordable than California. Well, people will say, but you make the money in California. Yes, you make the money in California, but you spend all everything in California that you wouldn't even have anything left. You might even get indebted. So I thought of Texas, and the first thing I had to do was to start looking for a job. So I got on Indeed and some other, sites where can help me search for a job. As a teacher, it's always easy for us to get a job, especially a teacher that knows what you are doing. Then it was like Texas or North Carolina. The children didn't like the idea of North Carolina. I can't really say why, but they said they prefer Texas. So I said wherever I got job offer, then we had to head towards the direction. And surprisingly, I had some people calling me from North Carolina, but there was no offer, there was no interview. But I had some organizations calling me from Texas, and I, of course, scheduled an interview in person. I had to fly from California to Texas for the in-person interview. I was like in three places for interview same day because I told them I was coming from California, and I was still hoping, praying, and one of them called me and gave me an offer, and I told the kids I got a job and it's time for us to move. How did we go about it and what next? And that was what happened was that I had to start looking for house. It was online. I got the first house in, I think it was in Jarrell. I don't really know. Like, I started the distance between the place and my work, and of course we know in US almost you drive, you commute to work, which some people find it is like a common thing. I said, okay, it was not bad. In California I was not commuting, but in Texas I said, well, it's not bad if I could commute like 30 or 40 minutes. So, but that house didn't work out. Then I got the second one in Leander. Then it was all online. It didn't work out until I got one in Palmer Lane, Austin. And yes, it worked out. I think it was 1,600. Yes, that I got the house, and it was like, wow, because I always love living in a home because I have six children, and I know it's a lot for a single mom, and I just wanted to have a home where they can be able to do their stuff. Sometimes they can be loud and all that. So I wouldn't want us to cause nuisance to the to our neighbors. So that's why it was like an apartment was enough for me then. So we got that place, and I came first. I started my work in April, and the children were still in school. And my mom, she was thankful, and she has to start looking for a place. And when the children, so we planned it so that when the children will graduate, some of them were graduating that year, some of them, they are getting off school by June. So that would be when I'll come in to, pick them up. So I was in Texas. I also moved my car. That was the first thing. I moved my car and few things. And then I worked from April till June 10th. Then I went back to California and then pick up the kids. We flew off. I had to use like some moving vans. We sold some of our things we gave away, and we were able to move. I think it was just one moving van. Then it cost me like $3,600. 3,600. Yes, that was what it cost me to move our things. Then the things I felt we needed, and then the children, we all flew in and started our life in Austin, then Victoria Glen Lane. And from Austin, I was going to my work then. uh I was driving like 45 minutes because my work was in Cedar Park. And then from Austin, we're living in like a townhome of 2 rooms. From there, we moved to Leander. Yes, from there we moved to Leander, where we're living in a townhome of 3 rooms. We started our life, myself and the children too. We're still in college in California, and life was a little bit easier because I have kids in college, and then where everybody was supportive because we just have to do it until I met Brian. He came into our life, and of course, we are now like one big family. Life became complete, and from there we moved to Round Rock, where we're now living, you know, 4 rooms. So if you're the one, maybe you're thinking of moving, or you want to move, from state to another state, I'm telling you, if I can do it, yes, you can do it too.